Persia was the most powerful empire on earth. Its kings wrote the world's first human rights document. Its scientists invented algebra. Its poets are still read by millions today. Its armies made Rome nervous. And then one day, it was gone. The name disappeared from maps. The empire collapsed. A completely different country called Iran appeared in its place. But here is the strange part. The people never left. The language never died. The poetry never stopped being written. The food never changed. The fire people jump over every spring, still burning after 3,000 years. So, what actually happened? How does the world's greatest empire become a modern country? And did Persia really die? Or did it just change its clothes? Welcome to Past Portals, where we learn English through history, one story at a time. Subscribe right now. Let's begin. To understand how Persia became Iran, we need to understand what Persia actually was at its peak. Around 550 BC, a king named Cyrus built the largest empire the world had ever seen, stretching from modern Greece all the way to modern India. Dozens of different languages, religions, and cultures, all living under one Persian roof. But Cyrus did not rule through fear like every other empire before him. He ruled through something far more unusual: respect. When he conquered Babylon, he freed the Jewish slaves held there for decades. He let every culture keep its own religion and language. He wrote these principles on a clay cylinder that the United Nations today considers one of the earliest human rights documents in history. The Persian Empire was not just big, it was sophisticated, advanced, humane in ways the ancient world had never seen before. Then came Darius the Great, who built royal roads connecting the entire empire, created the world's first postal system, and constructed Persepolis, a palace city so magnificent that visitors from every corner of the world traveled just to stand before it. For 2 centuries, Persia was untouchable, until a 22-year-old Macedonian king decided to change that. Alexander the Great crossed into Persian territory in 334 BC with extraordinary speed and military genius. City after city fell. The Persian king Darius III fled, and in 330 BC, Alexander stood before Persepolis, the heart and soul of Persian civilization, and burned it to the ground. That night, watching the greatest city in the world turn to ash, everyone believed Persian civilization was finally finished. But then something nobody predicted began happening. Alexander started wearing Persian robes. He married a Persian princess named Roxana. He asked his generals to marry Persian women. He performed Persian royal ceremonies. He began calling himself not the destroyer of Persia, but its rightful heir. The man who burned Persepolis became Persian. After Alexander died young, his empire split apart, and Persia rose again under 2 new dynasties, the Parthians and then the Sassanids, who ruled for over 400 years and made Persia one of the 2 great superpowers of the ancient world, constantly competing with Rome and later Byzantium. Persia had survived Alexander completely, not by fighting him, by absorbing him. But the next transformation was far bigger, far more permanent. In the 7th century AD, Arab armies exploded out of the Arabian Peninsula carrying a new religion called Islam. They moved with extraordinary speed. The Sassanid Persian Empire, weakened by decades of exhausting war with Byzantium, could not hold. In 651 AD, the last Sassanid king was killed. The Persian Empire was over. Islam replaced Zoroastrianism, the ancient Persian religion that had burned sacred fires for 1,000 years and taught the world a simple but radical philosophy: good thoughts, good words, good deeds. Many Persians converted to Islam. The Arabic language became the language of religion and scholarship. From the outside, it looked like Persian identity was being erased completely. But watch what actually happened. Persian scholars, doctors, mathematicians, poets, and architects stepped forward and became the absolute beating heart of the Islamic Golden Age, the greatest period of human knowledge and discovery between 800 and 1200 AD. Al-Khwarizmi, Persian, invented algebra. His name directly became the word algorithm. Every computer program running right now on every device in the world is built on mathematical foundations laid by a Persian man over 1,000 years ago. Ibn Sina, Persian, wrote a medical encyclopedia so complete and so accurate that European universities used it as their primary medical textbook for 500 years after his death. Rumi, Persian, wrote poetry so deeply human that his books are currently bestsellers in the United States, 800 years after he died. The Arabs conquered Persian land. The Persians conquered the Arab mind. Centuries passed. The Mongols arrived. In the 13th century, Genghis Khan's armies swept across Central Asia, destroying everything they touched. Persian cities that had stood for 1,000 years were reduced to rubble in days. Millions of people died. It was the most complete destruction Persia had ever faced. And yet, within 2 generations, the Mongol rulers of Persia were speaking Persian, commissioning Persian poetry, building Persian-style architecture, hiring Persian administrators to run their government. The Mongols destroyed Persian cities. Persian culture rebuilt itself inside the Mongol court. 3 times now, Alexander, the Arabs, the Mongols, 3 of the most powerful forces in human history, had tried to overwrite Persia. 3 times, Persia rewrote them instead. Then came the moment that created the Iran we recognize today. In 1501, a new dynasty called the Safavids rose to power, and they made 2 decisions that permanently shaped Iranian identity. First, they unified the country under one central government for the first time in nearly 1,000 years. Second, they declared Shia Islam the official religion of the state. This second decision was enormously significant. The Ottoman Empire next door was Sunni Muslim. By becoming officially Shia, Persia separated itself clearly from its neighbors. It gave the Persian people a distinct religious identity that set them apart from the Arab world that had converted them centuries before. Persia was saying something important. We accepted Islam, but we are not Arab. We were never Arab. We are Persian, and we will remain Persian. Under the Safavids, Persian art, architecture, and culture reached extraordinary new heights. The capital city, Isfahan, became one of the most beautiful cities in the entire world. Its mosques with deep blue tile work so vivid they look like pieces of the sky brought down to earth. Its bridges, its gardens, its grand central square where polo was played before crowds of thousands. There is a Persian saying from this era that still exists today: Isfahan is half the world. The modern name Iran was officially adopted in 1935. The king at the time, Reza Shah, asked the international community to stop using the Greek name Persia and use the name the Persian people had always called their own land, Iran. From Aryanum, land of the noble ones. The name on the map finally matched the name in the hearts of the people. But the 20th century brought storms that Persia, across all its thousands of years, had never quite faced before. Oil was discovered, and suddenly the world's most powerful nations were deeply interested in Iran for reasons that had nothing to do with poetry or culture. In 1953, Britain and America secretly organized the removal of Iran's democratically elected Prime Minister, Mohammad Mossadegh. His crime was wanting to give Iranian oil back to the Iranian people instead of foreign companies. That wound, the memory of having democracy stolen from outside, never fully healed. In 1979, a revolution transformed everything. The Shah was removed. An Islamic Republic was declared. Iran's relationship with the Western world collapsed almost overnight. A new chapter began, one still being written today. My friends, here is what this entire story quietly teaches us. Persia did not become Iran because it was defeated. It became Iran because it kept choosing itself. Every conqueror who came, Greek, Arab, Mongol, Turk, brought something new. And Persia took what was useful, absorbed what was beautiful, held on to what was essential, and emerged each time as something slightly different but fundamentally the same. The same language spoken for 2,500 years. The same poetry passed from grandparent to grandchild. The same fire jumped over every spring, the same hospitality, treating every stranger like a blessing that walked through the door. Persia did not survive by being unchangeable. It survived by knowing exactly which parts of itself could never be allowed to change. That is not just history. That is a lesson for every person who has ever felt like the world was trying to make them into something they are not. Know your core. Absorb what helps you grow. Let go of what does not. And keep going. Subscribe to past portals if this story stayed with you today. And comment one word right now. Just write Isfahan below. It tells me this story reached you. Take care. Keep being curious. Goodbye from past portals.